Hello everyone, Frugal Panda here with a review. This is just a review of my trip to the Pacific Northwest in the fall of last year. I had a bunch of amazing footage I had, and I didn't want to erase it. I wanted to go through and do a quick review, full review of my whole trip. The way I took this time is different than I usually do. This time I went through Lake Tahoe area. I wanted to cut over through California and come up the coast from Northern California above San Francisco. So that's what I did. I went through Nevada, stopped in Lake Tahoe. And so this was just a different way. I usually would go through the Oregon Badlands. So this time I went through Salt Lake and then cut across to Lake Tahoe. And I'm so glad I did. I got to explore a little bit of Lake Tahoe and definitely put on my bucket list to come back because I'm highly interested in checking out this area once again because of how beautiful it was in the Lake Tahoe area. So as you can see right now, I'm probably on my way to Susanville area right here. But this is all this footage I had. I didn't put in any of my other videos that I was like, I couldn't just erase it. I was like, people got to see this. So as I've said in my other videos, I'm driving. This is Eureka, California. A lot of these areas sometimes get a bad rap from people. When I would be online talking to people, especially people that seem a little more elitist, they kind of discount this part of the Pacific Northwest or this northern part of California that doesn't include San Francisco. And I'm going to tell you guys, I don't listen to what people say. Usually I'll do the opposite of what people tell me to do when it comes to traveling because sometimes people are very elitist. And I would have missed out on Humboldt County. Humboldt County was amazing. Eureka was cool. It has its problems, but what place doesn't? Arcata was awesome. Eureka, I'll come back to Eureka too. I liked Arcata. I rode my bike, and during this trip, I did not feel that well, and I still had an awesome time. I was really impressed with these areas, and I am so glad I came this way. So this is Arcata Wetlands right here. It was near a walking trail. I was riding my e-bike, or excuse me, e-scooter, and I saw it. And I said, "Oh man!" They also have one of the oldest, or if not the oldest, zoo in California. So getting back to it, this is me riding my scooter. Getting back to it, Humboldt County was awesome. Susanville, which I worked at a place we laughed at Susanville. I'm from California, but I had never been there, but I'd heard things about it. Let me tell you, I drove through that area coming up from Lake Tahoe through Redding and all that stuff. That area was beautiful. They had huge lakes. If you're into outdoors, lots of stuff to do, outdoorsy stuff. Does it have issues? Yes, every place does. I could go to San Francisco and I could find a million problems. So this is me driving. I'm heading towards Oregon. But the Humboldt County area, I want to come back and investigate more. People were nice. It was an eclectic group of people, different types of people, beautiful along the ocean. The trees were beautiful. The interior of California, these little small cities, small towns, was awesome. So do not be afraid to go check out these areas. Oh, and if I didn't say yet, the car I drove for this trip was a 2023 Nissan Kicks. It's actually the same car I used on my last trip. I was going to bring my electric Nissan Aria, but then I was like, you know what? I want to get out here, and I don't want to be burning up a bunch of time. So, and it was a simple trip. You can fill it up with gas and go. The little car did fine. It was getting pushed around on the highway in Wyoming this last time because it was super windy in October time frame. But it was not that big of a deal. One thing I did do was take the back seat out. You may see in my other videos, and it gave me so much room I could carry my e-bike and my e-scooter and everything I had. So there was a bunch of stopping started happening once I started hitting the ocean, and I had to keep stopping in different places and saw it. I don't care if it was overcast and all that. The ocean is beautiful to me. I want to stop at this place one day. I saw it looks touristy trap like, but it was cool. Picture of all those huge trees along the way. I'm going to start next time I come. I'm going to start further down, maybe San Francisco, but San Francisco's going to be a quick drive over the bridge and stuff, and start from there up. As you saw there, one thing I would give you is in California, stop at the Native American reservations. The gas is like $1.50 cheaper than that $5 crap that you get at most California gas stations because they tax it to death over there. So that's what I did. This is me driving through Crescent City. I don't know. I think for my first trip to Oregon, I always get happy when I see Crescent City. I don't know what about it. It's either I'm coming into California or I'm going into Oregon. So it kind of gets to me. Once I got to Oregon, I started stopping even more so. And then as you see, it's cloudy and all this stuff. And I'm walking out here and I'm just walking around, guys. But I want to show you the beauty. I'm a very budget minded traveler. So when it's just me, I usually have, depending on the hotel I'm at, I'm going to eat breakfast there, and then I'm going to eat like a brunch. A lot of times I'll eat like a brunch, one meal, and then maybe an appetizer or snack later on, but usually I eat just one meal, major meal. And usually like it's a late lunch a lot of times. So I'm just walking around. My idea is I'm going to drive to around noon, 1 o'clock, and then I'm going to get lunch somewhere. So later on in the video, you'll see me. I'll stop in what is Gold Beach. I've stayed the night in Gold Beach on the way somewhere else, and I didn't stay this time in Gold Beach, but I did stop for lunch. I think my main focus, the first stop for me for the night was going to be Coos Bay. So I'm driving through on my way to Coos Bay. As I said, it's overcast but still beautiful. And here's a picture of me to prove that I was actually there this year. So there's a couple pictures. I had to get a couple pictures for myself just to remind myself where I've been. Yes, and I could spend all day just going up and down, going to beaches. Let's get back to the car real quick. So this Nissan Kicks is it's a small CUV front wheel drive, but it has so much room on the inside. So as I said earlier, I took a ton of stuff. I was getting 35 to 38 miles to the gallon, no issues. So the car was definitely a great travel partner. I have sometimes issues with the seats in it, but I also realize that I need to look online. There's certain ways you should adjust these seats to the type of car it is, so it's much better for you. But it wasn't too bad. It was definitely tolerable. It's when I get in the point where I'm going back and I don't stop as much, which I need to stop more. That's neither here nor there for this video either. So here we are. We're just stopping at different spots in Oregon on our way up the coast. I have no real plan. I just realized this time I wanted to spend the night in Coos Bay, ride my e-bike around there, and go to a place called Shark Bites. I saw one time we were going through a few years ago that I wanted to check out. Maybe to people in Coos Bay it's not a big deal or whatever, but I don't know. You know how it is sometimes in places. When you go back, there's certain things you want to do. I wouldn't have had an amazing time in Coos Bay. Even though I was starting to feel sick, I still rode my bike and had an awesome time. And just like that, poof, it was sunny. All of a sudden it was sunny on me, and I think it just motivated me to drive more, because you can drive in Oregon and Northern California, I shouldn't just say Oregon, and it's just beautiful along the ocean. So you'll see some of these video cuts right here. They're just long, but I'm like, man, I gotta show these to people. And like I said, let's go back to California, because California, real quick, it's a bad rap. Oregon does to a certain extent, because California is the same way. Everyone thinks California is LA and San Francisco, and that's way far from the truth. That is not an analysis of all of California culture. California is very diverse and has so many other areas. They're just large population centers, but they don't represent all of California at all. Same as Oregon. Oregon, everyone thinks of it as being Portland. And I love going to Portland. I hang out in Portland. I think it's cool to a certain extent. Would I live there? No. If I lived in Portland area, it would be in one of the suburbs, out somewhere, Hillsboro or something like that. I love certain parts of Portland, but it's also a dysfunctional government as well. You can say that about LA. You can say that about San Francisco. And I'm not saying the smaller cities are perfect either, but it's a lot calmer. And those who know. Especially when you have families and kids. So we're driving through. We're going to start hitting all the cool little coastal towns in this area and stuff like that. And people will ask me, well, what about diversity? I had no problems. I don't have no problems. I go and interact with people. I don't have no problems. I don't start nothing, won't be nothing. That's someone in my family said, don't start nothing, don't be nothing. And that's how I live my life. I'm polite. I'll help you. I do everything for you. I have good conversations, and everywhere I went, I have a decent conversation with people. We talk about some random things or whatever. Like I said, the first time I went to Portland, I was in, I think, the St. Oh gosh, I don't want to mess it up. Anyways, this one historical area, and I was there, and this guy, I was eating, and this guy brought me he looked at me and said, "Hey friend, you're not from here." I said, "No." And he said, "Let me get you a list." And he gave me a list of some awesome places to check out. And I had an amazing time. He just randomly did. It was a waiter, at a restaurant. And it was really cool. We're just driving. But as I said, do not judge all of California by 2 or 3 cities. Do not judge Oregon by by Portland. And don't get me wrong, I love Portlandia. I love going there. I love hanging out there. But there is so much more to Portland. Or Portland. Oh, here I go. There's so much more to Oregon. And one of my next trips too, when I also want to explore more of Eastern Oregon and Eastern Washington, some of the cities. I got to get to the coast as I always do, but I still want to spend some time. And Salt Lake City. I drove through it again this time, and I told myself I'm going to spend a couple of days in Salt Lake one of these times. Salt Lake as well as Boise, Idaho, which keeps growing every time I go through it. So we're driving around. Would I recommend this road trip? Yes. This time I decided coming from Denver, and I apologize if I didn't say this. I'm coming from Denver, Colorado area, and I don't live in Denver, FYI. This is Gold Beach. This is where I'm going to stop to get a bite to eat. So when coming from Denver, I changed it up. I said I don't want to go through the Badlands. This is not a knock on Oregon, but I want to change it up this time. And so I set my first destination as Lake Tahoe area. And that's what I did. I did the Lake Tahoe area, and then I set it again for the coast, and I wanted to come pop out around Eureka, I think it was. And then I came up from there, and that's how I did it this time. Not my usual where I go through the Oregon Badlands, Bend, Sisters, and then Eugene, and so forth. I just want to do a different thing this time. Would I recommend coming to Pacific Northwest? Would I recommend coming to this northern part of California, Eureka, Arcata, up Samoa, and all these places, up Oregon's coast, Washington's coast and stuff? Oh, I wholeheartedly would. I had an amazing time, and I had a serious cold, and I had an amazing time. When you can look back at a trip, and it makes you smile, it was a good trip. And I still had a great time. And all it did, not feeling well this time, is leave me with so much more to do, so much more to explore. I had a great time, and I had an okay time in Portland because I didn't really stay that long. I had a great time in Seattle. I had a great time in all these places I checked out. Go check it out. Don't listen to anybody says. Just do it. You'll have a great time. This was in the October time frame of 2024. I want to thank everyone who watches my videos. There'll be more videos coming out. I just got back from a trip from Taos, New Mexico as well, so I'll post some of that in the future too. I've been busy, so I'm trying to get out as much as I can. But man, it's what I live for. I love to travel, meet new people, eat food, ride my bike, ride my scooter. Oh, and I got a second battery for my electric XP 3.0 long range. So this last trip when I was in Seattle, I rode that first day like 40-50 miles with my 2 batteries. Yeah, it was really cool doing that. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll try and think of if there's anything else. I added some of my Amazon links. Believe it or not, all this stuff helps me. Most of this trip was paid for from YouTube and Amazon links, guys. That's what the big deal is. Look at this drive, guys. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, this is Frugal Panda, everyone. Thanks for watching. Go check out the Pacific Northwest. It's a great place. I had a great time. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.